have government subsidized
So
insurance.
you wouldn't be afraid of free trade as long
Fair trade. If it was fair trade rather than free trade, if it was a level playing field for everybody competing.
We've always excelled at that. We could still
Yeah,
do it.
we make a quality product at a quality price with quality workers, and I don't think that's the problem that we have to where people can get their products cheaper overseas. The issue are the prices incurred by these companies for medical insurance costs that the government doesn't provide, is provided worldwide everywhere. There's costs for environmental protections that this country imposes, that other countries don't impose and don't enforce. You can go to China, and you can go to India, and I'm sure their waste and their pollution are unchecked, things that add a great amount of cost to the steel in this country, and especially here. You know, I don't know how familiar you are with the new facilities we're putting in, but we had to jump through many hoops, and we still are with the EPA to be able to put those new facilities in to make us more competitive. If we had a level playing field with the rest of the world, if there was, and this gets back to the politicians and the government, and let's have some kind of universal health care that doesn't cost these corporations the kind of money that it costs them to insure their workers. You know, we could enforce environmental, this gets to global warming, things like that, enforce that around the globe, then we would be much more competitive price-wise with the rest of these companies. And, you know, we're willing to compete with them as long as it's a level playing field. And I think we can beat it. But the way the market's set up now, and the advantages they have that this country doesn't have, it's not a fair playing field.
Mike Griffin.
Look, if you don't want to use your name.
No, I'm Mike Griffin, and I've been a member.
I just want to say that generally. I don't have to use your name.
I've been a member of the Steelworkers Union.
But if you're going to give me the name, I got to give me your age.
Okay, I'm 55 years old.
Yeah.
I've been a member of the Steelworkers Union since 1973. My father retired from Laclede Steel in '79, and I think there's trees growing in the parking lot of Laclede Steel in Alton now. This is a lot deeper problem. My point is, we're fighting for jobs, but just not very long ago, I sit and listen to our Congress tell auto workers that they should be paid the same as Asian workers. Otherwise, our auto industry, which is directly connected to the steel industry, they're going to lose their jobs. Our Congress couldn't help them unless they made the same as Asian workers.
And people in Congress say...
It was in the hearings, on the auto worker hearings.
In the hearing, yeah.
So...
That auto workers should be paid the same as Asian workers.
Yeah, that was part of that stimulus, you know, in order for them to get money for our government to help workers in this country.
Yeah.
So now at the same time, you read an article in the Post today that says they've identified 20 sources of Indian government subsidies to the steel industry. That's in the Post-Dispatch story this morning. So they're telling us that we have to be paid what Asian workers are.
20 sources, I have to get by.
It was in the Post-Dispatch this morning that our government, it says our government has identified 20 sources of the Indian government subsidization for that. So then you hear our Congress tell our workers, United States workers, that that's what they have to do, but then our Congress sits up there and say, well, we can't subsidize our industry. So on one foot, our Congress says we have to play by the Asian rules, but our Congress doesn't have to play by the world market and help American workers through subsidies, and we're only talking about health care for our families and our children. You know, we're talking about not having to work until you fall dead inside the plants. We're talking about keeping our country from being like it was at the turn of the century. And this is a fight that we've been fighting for. Well, when I go back, I got laid off at Laclede Steel, my first job out of high school with my dad. I got laid off in '73. This was happening to us in 1973. We're real close to the bottom. And then you read an article that was in the paper yesterday about how the American worker is more forgiving than the rest of the world workers. We don't take CEOs hostage. we try to fight through the system. The fact of the matter is, our Congress, our government, is the people that we're fighting, and we shouldn't have to be fighting our Congress.